So today we're going to talk about how to optimize glucose using the Freestyle Libre. And it's important to make sure that you don't use one of these without guidance of your GP or specialist doctor. So getting set up with the Freestyle Libre is a little bit complex. It's not super simple. So I think about it in 3 steps. So step 1, it's about placing the device accurately. Step 2 is about activating it to maximize the accuracy of the reading. And step 3, scanning, so you maximize the accuracy of your scans as well. So step 1, you want to make sure you're placing the Libre into the fattiest part of your arm, because it's designed to measure the glucose in the interstitial fat, so in the fat layer below the skin. So a common mistake is for people to put it on the side of their arm where there isn't much fat, especially in men, and then you're going to have the sensor going into the muscle, and it can be very painful and inaccurate as well. So make sure to place it into the fattiest part of the arm. It's a bit confusing in the instructions. Step 2, generally I think it's best to wait 24 hours before activating the sensor on your phone app or with the device that's provided. And that's because in the first 24 hours, there's going to be inflammation in the area where the sensor is, because you've just inserted this sensor into your body, and it causes inflammation as your body's getting used to it. So wait 24 hours before activating it. And that's what the studies show is the best time to start activating it. And you want to set the target range to 4 to 7 millimoles per liter. And then for scanning, you've got to make sure you don't really want to take high dose vitamin C, so over 1 gram supplements per day whilst using it, as it can interfere with the accuracy of the readings, because the way the sensor works is it detects a voltage in the subcutaneous fat. So the voltage is going to be changed by the high levels of vitamin C in your tissues, I think is the theory. And it's important to scan, most importantly, just before you go to bed and as soon as you wake up, because that's the most common period that people miss and forget to scan, because the reader only records 8 hours of data. So if you're sleeping for 8 hours and you haven't scanned before you go to bed, then you're going to miss that time of the readings before you go to bed. And then, yeah, you really want to scan every 4 hours while you're awake to make sure you don't miss anything. Then you're going to get all 24 hours data. Okay, so first of all, you want to record what's spiking you above 7 millimoles per liter. And to do this, you can use this template I've got here. So you want to record it, first of all, you're going to put it in the list of foods and their weights and the time you ate them in the suspected section here. And then we can isolate the major ingredients of that meal, like eat them one by one and see if that's the thing that's spiking you. And when that's confirmed, you can then move that to the confirmed section. So say I eat like granola plus cherries plus peaches plus, or a peach plus like 10 grapes, put that here, because that's something I saw spiking me above 7 millimoles. And then I try those foods individually. So then I try cherries and peach and the grapes, and I find I eat them and it has no effect on my glucose, like it doesn't make me go above 7. So then I put them here. It's like, oh, false alarm, 10 grapes, cherries, peach, in this false alarm section. And yeah, say it was 11 a.m. or something. But then I eat the granola by itself, and I find, oh, that's the thing in this meal here that's causing me to go above 7 millimoles. Then I put the granola here, and then you can work. Yeah, and say you weighed it as well, and it was like, 100 grams of granola portion. And then you can test stuff to replace the granola. So say you want to swap it for oats instead, like 100% steel cut oats of the same portion, or a smaller size of granola. So maybe you want like maybe 50 grams maximum would be the amount that wouldn't spike you above 7 millimoles. So then you could write that here, swap for 50 grams granola. So yeah, going back to this, this is like the detailed instructions, which I'm not going to read through it. But yeah, you want to shortlist what spikes you. Then step 2, you want to confirm which ingredients in that meal is the thing that's actually spiking you, like the granola in that example. And then you want to write down those bad ingredients, so you have a bad ingredients list that you're going to build up over time. So you know these are the foods that you eat in a certain amount and at a certain time that you want to avoid. And then step 4, you want to trial and record the replacements. And I've got some more detailed instructions on here, as you can see, but you can read through it in the presentation. So then what are the ranges you want to aim for? So you can the simplest way of summarizing interstitial continuous glucose monitoring is with these 3 markers. So these are probably the 3 most important markers. So these are the normal ranges as based on this recent study, which is the largest one done so far. So they looked at 100 people from age 18 to 60, and they checked they didn't have pre-diabetes, full diabetes, type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, or obesity. So it's a very relevant population, and they're age 18 to 60. So the 3 markers are average glucose over 24 hours, and you want to be in the 5 to 6 millimole range. So if you're outside that range, that's outside the healthy optimal range. So you want to do stuff to make sure you're getting back into that range. And the Freestyle Libre will record like this value automatically, and it'll be in the app, and it'll show you it every day, and it'll get more accurate over 2 or 3 days as it will combine the data for your average glucose for each day. And then the next one is the percentage of time that you're within the optimal range, which is 4 to 7 millimole range. And what's normal for that is to be in that range 80 to 92% of the time. And the Freestyle Libre app and the report on the software, the LibreNIC software, will all tell you the percentage of time you're spending in range. So it's called the time in range in the app. And you want to be 80 to 92% in that range. 85%, 86% is the kind of the average for these younger, healthy people. So maybe you want to be aiming for the top half of that range. So maybe 85% plus. And likewise with the average glucose, maybe you want under 5.5, but I can't find any good evidence that having, 5.5 is better than having 5.9. So the last one is the number of times above 10 millimoles. So that's like how many times at any point during the time you're wearing the patch does your glucose ever go above 10 millimoles per liter? And that should be never. So if that does happen, it's indicative of prediabetes. And the same with all of these. Basically, if you're outside these ranges, then you're going to be having it could be considered pre-diabetic. Okay. If you have any questions, let me know.